I'll just give you some stats if I may. When he came in, Arsenal were 10th in the Premier League, 22 points, 7 points adrift of 4th place Chelsea, and a potential Champions League qualifying place. His record, games 107, wins 60, draws 18, losses 29, points per game 1.85, titles, he's won an FA Cup and a Community Shield. I mean, he seriously has been in a roller coaster in his first 2 years. Now, nobody can argue that, you know, winning the FA Cup was a phenomenal start, and then they just dipped. Some poor performances in the league, and now they are in with an absolutely realistic chance, I think, of finishing, when I say best of the rest, I mean outside the top three in a Champions League place. We'll start with you, Ray. How would you boys evaluate Arteta's time so far at Arsenal?
Well, I think you summed up very well there, Ali. I must admit. I mean, it has been a rollercoaster ride. Lots of changes since he's been at the club. I mean, he had those problems with the players that he wanted out. Ozil, Mustafi. There was a lot of deadwood and people causing lots of problems behind the scenes in the dressing room area, which didn't make it a steady ship, if I'm being honest. So he's done really well to get those guys out of the club, and then he's slowly brought in a few other players. Tommy Yasu's been a fantastic signing at right back. He's given the young players an opportunity to get a chance. Like Smith Rowe now is playing on a regular basis, and Odegaard, he brought him back in knowing what he's done, why he was here on loan. So he's made a lot of changes. He really has, and they have spent some money. They have backed him. I don't think he can complain about, I've no money to spend, because he went out and bought Ben White 50 million, and he spent some big money in that respect. So, but what I say about Mikel Arteta, I think he's sort of a guy that I think he's got the dressing room now. Now, I know it was big news a couple of weeks ago with Aubameyang, what's happened to him, and he's probably a big figurehead in that dressing room. But since Aubameyang's not been in the side or not played, I've seen a good spirit. Which sometimes, if you leave a player out as influential as probably Aubameyang, then you might have a problem. If he's got a big following in, I'm sure everybody does like Aubameyang and get on with him. But
he didn't have an option, Arteta, surely.
No, he didn't have an option. He's got to stamp his authority to say, look, you can't do that. You've got a young team. He's got a very young team. You go through this team, Ali. Yeah, it's such a young side, and they will get better. They will improve, hopefully, and that's what he's hoping they do. But you've got to show an example. You can't have youngsters looking up and saying, well, he's got away with it, but maybe I can do the same. You can't have that in the dressing room area. So he got the deadwood out. He got the people he wanted out. Now, if you go through the team itself, you know, the back fours are all 24, 23, 22s. Ramsdale, we know, has been a massive influence in the form of Arsenal in recent weeks. I know it was a poor result against Everton. Apart from that, it's been pretty good. And then you look at the midfield. Xhaka's probably, and Lacazette, who's been playing recent, they're the only ones who are 29, 30. All the rest are really good ages. Saka, 20. Smith Rowe, 21. You've got Odegaard, 22. Yeah. So if they develop as a side going forward, then they might have a chance, Ali. I don't know. But it's all ifs and buts, isn't it? Every manager knows it's a results business. And if Arsenal suddenly lose 5 games in a row and end up 10th in the table, then people will be calling for his head again. So that he's just got to keep this going now. I know Manchester United and Spurs have got games in hand on Arsenal, but at the moment, you know, that would be an unbelievable season if Arsenal can come fourth. And at the moment, they're sitting in that spot. I know there's a long way to go. We're only halfway through the season, but certainly I've seen an improvement in the players, and I think there's a connection now between the fans and the players. I was over at West Ham. I've been at a few games this year at home. There's a much better atmosphere for me. I think the fans are really getting behind the players, which gives you a massive advantage, and the home form has been very good for Arsenal's point of view.
Benty, I want to, if I come just before we go to a news break, give me one thing that's impressed you probably most, or as much as anything, about Arteta's reign.
Other than the FA Cup?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the FA Cup was fantastic. Maybe that kind of bought him a little bit of time, you'd have to say, because he won that so early into his managerial experience at Arsenal that it kind of...
Who's that? Think about Ellen Road.
But yeah, I think that winning that so early definitely bought him a little bit of time. But I just like the way that the team have coped without Aubameyang, because for large periods it's all been about him. He's been the main man scoring all the goals, and it was almost like you had to sink or swim with that decision. If you were going to kind of push him to the side and say, listen, you're no longer being a part of it because clearly something more has happened, then the boys might not have reacted that well to it. Next thing you know, it's like, I've got to bring him back. So listen, fair play to him. He's made the decision, and it looks like the players are buying into it.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.